Hi, this is Matt. Once again, welcome back to another video, and this is a paid request for Edward. Thank you so much for that. For those interested requesting any type of videos, whether it be a topic, a tier list, a ranking, a review, a re-review, thoughts, streams, commentaries, whatever the case may be, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal. I do have a Cash App as well. Links are down below in the info box, and I'll get to it as soon as I possibly can. Thank you for your patience, especially for Edward. Thank you so much. He's always been very generous and has me so far going through the 2012 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle cartoon, this being season 1 and the 2 episodes The Gauntlet and Panic in the Sewers. Before I get into this, I know if you've seen the other videos this is just me repeating, but as someone says, you never know, this could be the first video someone sees of this type of stuff. I'm a Ninja Turtles fan. I love the 2003 cartoon. I grew up with the 80s cartoon. The 2012 cartoon, I remember not minding the first season or so, although I had issues here and there. It was a little bit afterward that I just kind of lost complete interest for a variety of reasons that would take me like 20 minutes to go through. I did recently watch The Rise of the TMNT movie, because I wasn't really big on the cartoon, but I only saw like the first 2 or 3 episodes. Maybe it gets better. But the Rise of the TMNT movie I actually didn't mind. I actually thought that was pretty good, because I thought his heart was in the right place. And it had some decent emotional bits, and action bits, and serious bits, so I appreciate it. But getting back to this, I would say, as I've said before, Season 1 and bits of Season 2 I didn't mind for what it was. The voices, Rob, who voiced Raphael in the 80s Ninja Turtles cartoon, Rob Paulsen, I don't mind his voice of Donnie. The guy who voices Mighty, which he's the voice of Beast Boy and Teen Titans, I grew to like his voice, and I thought, okay, he kind of fits Mighty. I thought Jason Biggs was a surprisingly decent choice for Leonardo. I like the Leonardo, at least so far in this. He has a bit more, he has a bit personality. This is very easy to make him the kind of the stiff hero, leader. His guard up all the time. It's a bit more of a playful Leonardo, but not too overzealous where it doesn't seem like Leonardo anymore. So I thought Jason Biggs struck a good balance between serious but still very playful. Sean Astin, I said this before, I'll say it again. I like him and stuff like the Goonies and Encino Man, but his Raphael, I just don't. His voice, I don't know. Maybe it's just more of the way the character is done. Especially later on. Like maybe the first season or so, he's fine. But I think in my mind, it's just tainted with the shit that happens later. Which again, what do you mean? Yeah, it would take me like 20 minutes to get into all that. So I don't know. I don't mind the Splinter in this, although at times he seems like a dick, but at other times he's just being, serious because he wants his sons to be safe. I do not like this April O'Neil. She just seems like a cock tease and a bitch, and then she's got superpowers and pushy. Especially in the Panic in the Sewers, other times she's just way too fucking pushy. I'm like, you do the shit yourself then, lady. Fuck you, Miss Tampon. But I'll get to that. But I would say overall, these 2 episodes I liked. I liked them. The first one, the Gauntlet, we're introduced to this mutant that appears throughout the show called Pigeon Pete. But we don't know his name yet. It's just this mutant bird, mutant pigeon chasing April. Meanwhile, at the lair, the Ninja Turtles, Donnie has made smoke bombs. I did find it funny how Mighty starts abusing it, where, wow, that's so cool. And Don's like, hey, I haven't made a whole lot. It takes a while to make these, so don't waste them. So, of course, even if it's something simply needs to do, he just uses a smoke bomb, goes back and forth. I thought that was kind of funny. I thought that was kind of playful for Mighty to do. Wasn't too annoying or anything. You still have that creeper theme with Donnie and April being, where Donnie will say, someone's trying to hurt my April. I mean, the reason, I've said this before, the reason that bugs the fuck out of me is because why bring it up if you do nothing with it? I'm not wanting trust me, I'm not wanting a sex scene between a Ninja Turtle and April. No, it's not on my bingo card. A Beauty and the Beast type of love story that's going to have its up and down, maybe, if it's done right, of course. But at the same time, they keep bringing it up. Like every other episode, something about that is brought up. And like Donnie having a crush on April. And it's just like, you're not going to do anything with it, so just shut the fuck up. And April just say, hey, listen, not interested, but thank you for shopping, okay? Thank you for not smoking. But she just lets it keep going and just being goddamn cock tease. Well, it's not her job. Well, then just fucking say, hey, shut the fuck up, leave me alone, Donnie. That's not hard to do. Trust me, women can do that. I've seen it firsthand. Not done to me, but done to other people. Shut the fuck up, leave me alone. Those are the words, just say them. So at this point, the Turtles, they've gone through stuff earlier in the season, variety of battles, so they're getting cocky. Of course, that's the lesson, is they get too cocky for their own good. They eventually defeat this pigeon. They find out, he means no harm. He was actually a pigeon that became this mutant. I know about your dad, April. This is where you can find them. And they go to get the dad. It's with the Crane, which are these robots with little brains in the stomach. In the 80s cartoon, there was one just called Crane. In the comic books, in the 2003 cartoon, they were called the Utroms, and they were actually the good guys. It's just there was one evil one, which was in the Shredder, which I know was very controversial. It didn't bother me. It didn't bother me. Because I'm open for things being... Guess what? I am open for things being different. It's just going to be subjective with everyone. Like in this show, we're not there yet, but when we find out that Karai was Splinter's daughter, when Splinter in this was a human, had a wife and kid, thinks the wife and kid died. The wife died, but the kid did die. Shredder took the kid and raised it as his own. It became Karai. And then Splinter had the Turtles, and he changed from human to rat, and the Turtles changed to who they are. That's different from the comic book, where he was just a rat, and then changed to Splinter. So yeah, I'm fine with doing different stuff. Again, why this and not that? Just I have to explain when it gets to that point. Some things work better than others. But they're trying to rescue April's dad. Mighty, he won't leave buttons alone, so he hits the wrong button, and an alarm goes off. And Raph even yells at him, going, well, that's why no one wants to be with you. You have this bit of sad, Mighty face. And they get into a fight. Raph at least gets to fight some. But they have to escape. Now, granted, where they're at, April's dad gets a gun and shoots and goes, I'll keep you covered. Now, you see like a bunch of turtles going up the rope. I mean, I don't really... The way it's structured, like the way it's edited, as in the environment, it seems like April's dad could have easily escaped. Just fire or something, then grab the rope and they pull your ass up. But, or some pull you up while some take the gun and shoot, keep a distraction. It seems like with April up top, 4 here, like, how about one of you guys take the gun and get the dad out of there? We're fighters, we're martial artists, and we can use guns. We'll use it, the blasters. Get April's dad out of there, and then we'll go. Even have smoke bombs. They literally create the fucking smoke bomb thing. Oh, I'm trying to think if they... No, I think... I don't think they had ran out of it. Maybe they did, I can't remember. Well, Mighty used one, and as they got into the closet... And you would think the others would have some, and not just Mighty. The others would have some of them. Smoke bombs, so why don't you use them? No, we can't, because we can't have the dad be rescued yet. It just seemed like kind of wanty writing on that. Pretty much what happens is the dad's still kidnapped. They gotta get away. They get word on where they need to go later on. You have this cool bit where the turtles are using arrows and some nice visual bits, animation-wise. Raph takes out 2 with his arrow. Donnie shoots the arrow, and you see the point of view kind of going a little slow-mo past the camera and hitting one of these trains. This cool bit where Mighty, the camera's following him as the camera's like right behind him as he shoots 1 and 2 and 3, and the camera sits with them in this tracking shot. I thought that was cool choreography. The way it was edited, the way it was animated. Definitely gives a bit of energy to it. I liked that. It was a cool bit, cool action bit. And then you have these 2 bad guys. Chris Bradford, which I always forget, Clancy Brown voices him. Of course, Clancy Brown from Highlander, Pet Sematary 2. He voiced Mr. Crab and SpongeBob SquarePants. So he's done other voice acting in other cartoons, but I always forget that he did a voice in this. And then this other guy named Zever, which I think Zever, the look, I think his look is based on Jim Kelly. Because I think the idea was the way Chris Bradford looks is based on Chuck Norris. And the way that Zever looks is based on Jim Kelly from Enter the Dragon. But he sounds like Antonio Banderas. If I had to quickly look, I'm like, is that Antonio? No, it's not Antonio Banderas. I think the guy sounds a bit like Antonio Banderas, but it's not him. It's another guy. So Raph is fighting him. I do like that they're kind of evenly matched. While Leo and Mighty are dealing with Chris Bradford. Donnie's disarming this bomb. They get their moments to shine. The 2 bad guys get drenched in mutagen. They disarm the bomb. And then there's the Shredder. Now, of course, you know what's going to happen. The turtles are not going to go, well, if you base it on the first comic book, they would beat the Shredder and kill his ass the first time they meet. Which that's the interesting thing when you read the first comic of the Ninja Turtles, is that they did beat the shit out of the Shredder and kill him. I think Donnie, like, hit a bomb with his bow or something, and yeah, the Shredder died in the first issue. Some people may not even remember that. Obviously, they're not going to do it in this. But yeah, it's... You know they're going to lose, they don't get their asses kicked, they don't have to run away, which is what happens. So that's, you know, par for the course. It's just one of those things that's just going to happen. Unless it's a movie, and maybe they meet one time, and... Well, let's see. The first movie... Splinter, they lost. Well, they didn't. That's the thing. In the '90s movies, they never really did beat Shredder, which was disappointing. Splinter beat him the first time. The second time, Shredder kind of beat himself. Which, I mean, as much as I love those films, that's one of the various nitpicks I have with them. And I do love those two '90s Ninja Turtle films to death. But I even have a shitload of nitpicks for those two, so. But yeah, that's just how I am with the Ninja Turtles. So some people are that way with Batman or Spider-Man, or that's how I am with Ninja Turtles, just how I am. But I still love those two. Movies, that is. 2003 cartoon, yeah, the first. It said any cartoon or stuff, when they first beat the Shredder, they don't lose. And they do. Shredder, the way he's designed, they definitely made him look. I think he still looks much more intimidating in the 2003 cartoon. I think the 2003 Ninja Turtles, that Shredder is still, I think, the scariest version of Shredder. With the voice and just the way it's animated, the look design. I still think that's the top. But this one, I don't mind the design. I don't mind the voice. There's this nice brotherly bit where Raph gets hit, and he gets electrocuted for a bit, and then Mikey goes up and checks on him, and then Raph smiles. At first, Mikey's like, and then he has his big smile knowing that Raph's okay. It's nice to have some nice, soft, brotherly moment to show that they care for each other. And if you don't know, I'm a big fan of Raph and Mikey together as a team. I kind of think of them as, if you remember the TV show The A-Team, Mr. T and Dwight Schultz, B.A. Baracus, and Hollyman Murdoch. But there's been other movies and shows where you have kind of the more strong, sturdy, macho guy, and then you have the kind of the goofy, comedic guy. There's a lot of buddy cop movies that have that kind of chemistry. Yeah, that's what I think you could get from those two characters. So that's why that was always my favorite, Raph and Mikey, my favorite duo. And so I thought that was a nice moment. At least they do get some shots in. Like there's a bit where Raph leaps down and saves Leo and Donnie by getting on Shredder's back. He gets a couple hits in and then throw him back. Hell, he got more hits here than he did the first time he fought Shredder in that shitty 2014 Ninja Turtles live action movie produced by Michael Bay, where he fights the Shredder, and Shredder, he wasn't even allowed to get one hit on him until just the end of the movie where all of them fight and he just hits Shredder in the face. Which I'll admit, that's a cool moment. I don't get that movie much, but I'll say that is a cool moment. But they get beaten up, they get away, they're bruised up, and as Splinter says, we're now at war. So it shows that, okay, things are getting more serious, things are getting more dire, the threat is real, nice progression. It shows it's not just kiddie fare for Nickelodeon. It's okay, they're going to take things a little bit more seriously. You can see the bruises, so it's not like nothing happened to them. Obviously, they're not going to show a whole lot because it's still Nickelodeon, but still, I appreciate at least to have a smidget of it. So I didn't mind that episode. Panic in the Sewers I actually liked even more, because it's a nice follow-up where Splinter is being adamant on training them. He even has a nightmare where Shredder comes out like a damn monster movie, like a boogeyman, come out of the fog, grabbing the turtles one by one, taking care of them, not in the good way. And Splinter wakes up. So we see his mindset. We see why he's adamant on training them, even though they get more tired. And he seems like an asshole, but when you see the nightmare scene, you can see why he's, again, adamant on it. And at the very end of the episode, he does apologize. So at least they give that which I appreciated. So Splinter doesn't seem as much of a dick. They're not allowed to leave the lair. I think this might be the first and one of the only times you have Mighty have his persona Dr. Frankenstein. I like the idea of Mighty doing pranks. So he hits water balloons on his brothers. Does one on Raph. He said, "You look so mad." And Raph's like, "Okay, I got a game. Does Mighty bend that way?" And chases after Mighty. I thought that was kind of a funny moment. I like throughout it, you see just how the turtles are more and more stressed because of the fear and pressure that Splinter's putting upon them. Which, plus them losing in the previous, just their nerves are on edge. So I like that it doesn't feel like the last episode didn't matter. A little bit of continuity. I appreciate that. April seems a bit bitchy where, "Oh, come on, guys." I said, "No, no, no, we're going to be here. We're going to be in the lair." And April's just being pushy and bitchy. Is like, "What you guys doing here for? You do fun. I'll do it." And Splinter's like, "No, no, you can't. I've been trying to what was it? Tranucci? Tranuichi? Can't even pronounce it right. Female ninja. And even Splinter goes, "It's only been a few weeks, but I can do it, guys." I'm like, "Fine, go get yourself killed and go fuck yourself. Just fuck this April. This April's annoying as shit." The last April I liked was the 2003 cartoon. Megan Fox sucks. This April's annoying. The one in Mutant Mayhem was just double annoying. Double the suffering and unpleasure. But the turtles, they know they need to go help out. They try to fight Clancy Brown's character, the one who looked like Chuck Norris. Now he's a mutant, which Mighty calls him Dog Pound. Does he look like a dog and he pounds people? Pounds the ground on the people. Not pounding people. That'd be a different movie, different, different thing. Anyway, they run away and they're scared. They're frightened. They're a bit uneasy. They don't know what to do. I thought it was a nice moment with Raph where even though he thinks this show is dorky, which is a show called about space heroes, which Leo likes. I like that Leo likes the show. The show looks just like the Star Trek animated show from back in the day. And I like that Leo's nerdy and liking this wannabe Star Trek show. And again, the Leo here, like Jason Biggs, I wish he had shut up on Twitter and not fuck around. Because he found out he got fired later on. And I wish he had stuck with it for the end. Because I do like Jason Biggs. I do like the way he portrays the character. I do like his voice for the character. I do like that Leo isn't boring. He's got, again, a bit of a personality. I'll get to that in a bit. I'm looking at my notes. But yeah, I like that Raph comments a quote from the show to get Leo in a better headspace. I thought that was nice. To give Raph something to do on that. The big invention in this episode is the patrol buddy, which Don says is not quite, the teams are now worked out. So pretty much they're connected, and one group has to go save April, the other has to stop this tanker of mutagen that's going to screw up other people. So Raph and Donnie go and rescue April using their buddies. Both have their nice moments to find some of the Foot Clan and saving April. Leo and Mighty, they deal with the tanker. Before they split up, Leo pushes a button where they separate and Raph goes, "Could you have been more specific on this?" And Leo goes, "Where's the fun in that?" So again, I like that he, like I said, Leo is playful, like I said. And I will admit, one bit did make me laugh. Not laugh hard, but it was a good chuckle. To deal with the mutagen tankers, something has to combust it. It's something to do with water. And say, how about you, Mighty? And Mighty's like, what? That water balloon behind you that you don't use on me. Because of his prank stuff. So Mighty uses it. It blows up. And then as Leo's just like, nice shot, Mike. And then Mighty just comes up and hits right in the face with another water balloon. And then Leo has his look and go, you had two? Where do you keep them? Which is a legitimate question. And just the way Jason Biggs is dumbfounded and just confused but exasperated. But like, you had two of them. Where do you keep them? I'm not doing a good job of it, but I thought that was actually genuinely funny. Just, I know at the end of the day, this is still a kids cartoon. Just like the 2003 cartoon is. But there are ways of doing things on a certain balance. I do think, for the most part in Season 1, they had a decent balance. But then later on, it's just how many movies can we reference? We're at the farmhouse, so let's reference A Nightmare on Elm Street. Let's reference Friday the 13th. Let's reference this. Let's reference the 80s cartoon 10 more times. Let's reference fucking Mad Max Fury Road for the last episode of our fucking show. It's just a big old nod to Fury Road instead of being our own thing. Okay. Like Rise of the TMNT that movie started with an apocalypse beginning, but at least it wasn't, oh, we're just ripping off this movie. No, it's just their own thing and part of the story and so forth. But yeah, I thought that Panic in the Suit was a fun episode. Mighty doing the prank, especially that bit at the end with Leo, I thought was rather funny. The turtles all had stuff to do. None of them seemed pointless. Yeah, nice character bit where they're scared and they're on edge because what happened before, and then what their sensei's doing, and then Splinter does apologize, which was nice of him. Splinter even gives them a break, and then he stops and goes, unless Mighty throws that water balloon. And the rest turn, they realize Mighty's got one. They say, wow, like, you're good. How do you know that? So the other three get Mighty to drop that water balloon. It's playful, it's fun. I thought it was a good episode. I would actually say probably one of the better episodes of Season 1. So yeah, two of them I liked. One establishes Shredder as a threat. The other, the stuff I just mentioned. So now we got more, definitely a mutant heavy show, this one. Where almost everybody, I mean, April, like, so you find out she's part crane and she's got superpowers. Karai, I think, even becomes a mutant. That's kind of like a snake. Mentioned, Sever, the guy in the previous episode, Gauntlet, he becomes an eel type of mutant. Like I said, Clancy Brown's character becomes this big dog. We had the Pigeon P in the previous. Like, there's a lot of fucking, like, this is like the mutant show. They're very, very heavy on the mutagen stuff in this. So, a lot more where that comes from. But overall, I don't hate everything. And this is how I thought when I first saw it, giving it a fair chance, even though initially I thought, oh, this looks pretty crappy. Oh, but this is how my thinking was. Again, it wasn't until, like I said, probably the middle of Season 2 or something where things kind of, I don't know if Edward, I mean, it'd be interesting if Edward is going to take me through the whole show. That'd be and very generous, so that's up to him. I would do it, but again, that's up to him. But hopefully the review was okay. If not, I apologize. I'll try to do better next time. But if so, thank you, Edward, for your kindness and your patience. Thank people for watching. And we'll see you guys later. Bye-bye for now.